Hello everyone, my name is Matt and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you 3 different lessons. The topic is healthy habits, and these lessons are designed for grades 6, 7, and 8. You'll see that these lessons are a bit different than the lessons I normally teach, and I actually use these lessons for my clinicals when I was doing my teaching certification. Well, an adjusted version of it. So this version is a little bit different. I added some stuff to it and changed it a bit, but the basic principles of the lesson are the same. And it's a lesson focused on the students writing sentences. So it's a differentiated lesson, which means that I have different levels of sentence starters for 3 different levels: beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So the lesson is just a bit different than what I normally teach, but I really want to share it with everyone because I think it's quite useful. And my students reacted really well to the lesson, and they really liked it, even though it was quite different than what I normally teach. So I actually taught this lesson to grade 6. But it will work really well for grade 7 or grade 8 as well. So I really hope that you can learn something from this lesson. And if you want to purchase this lesson and teach it yourself, you can go to my store and you can find all of my lessons there as well. You can buy all 3 of these lessons together as a combo, so it's a bit cheaper, it's a better deal. Or you can go to Teachers Pay Teachers. Combos are not available at Teachers Pay Teachers, but you can also find it there. Or you can go to my Taobao store where you can also find it as a combo. All right, so I really hope you enjoy this lesson and you learn something from it. Leave a comment below if you'd like to say anything to me, because it is quite different than what my lessons normally look like, and I'm curious what everyone thinks about it. So please leave a comment below and let me know. And yeah, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and let's get straight into the lessons. Okay, let's have a look at this PowerPoint. So as with all of my PowerPoints, we start with the introduction and the rules, and then we jump straight into the lesson. All right, so let's learn. Teaching Part 1. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show them the topic, and I want them to write the topic in their notebook. And you can also include the dates. You can write the date on the board and have them write that as well. Then I'm going to show them the topic again, but now in Chinese. And I will show them it again here. Okay, so if you're not teaching in a country where they speak Chinese, you can change that Chinese to Italian, Spanish, Russian, whatever you want. Okay, have them write that in their notebook as well. Okay, then I'm going to go through the lesson objectives with them. Okay, I'm going to show them exactly what they're going to do in today's class so they know. Okay, with younger grades, I don't always have this on the slide. Sometimes I'll just tell them, because it's very simple stuff. You know, we're going to learn some new words, we're going to play some games, stuff like that. With the older grades, I like to include this. I think it's a good habit. You can do it with the younger grades as well. I might start doing that next semester, actually. We'll see. All right, so then we will, I will read this to them, or I will have a volunteer read it. So healthy habits are actions we do regularly that help our bodies and minds stay strong. And I have here extra word to know. And I want them to write that in the notebook as well. Okay, just getting them primed for this topic. Okay, now I want them to brainstorm. Okay, so what are some things you do every day that you think are healthy habits? And I'll have them either write them in their notebook or they can raise their hand and tell me. Okay, and I can write them on the board. All right, so healthy habit number 1. Now what I want to do here is I want to see if they can figure out which word fills in this blank. Okay, so I have limit screen time, increase screen time, and avoid screen time. Now, many students might not know what the word screen is, so this is also going to be a new word, and I want to see what they know. Okay, so I'll have volunteers raise their hand. I might poll the class. Who thinks it's A, raise your hand. Who thinks it's B, raise your hand. Who thinks it's C, raise your hand. And then I'll show them the answer. Okay, and they can also write the word screen in their notebook. Okay, so it should be limit screen time. Have them write that in their notebook and move on. All right, so limiting screen time can help improve your sleep and mood. And once again, I'm blocking it, but it says extra words to know, and we have the word improve and mood. They should write them in their notebook as well. Okay, so why should we limit screen time? Well, it can have this effect, okay? Like no matter what you do, if you have extra homework to do or not, just limiting your screen time, just doing something besides staring at a screen is good for you. It can improve your sleep, your mood. Okay, so it's good. We're trying to make the students understand why this is relevant to their own life. Okay, if you do that, they're more likely to remember and be engaged in class. All right, so do your parents limit your screen time? Okay, so here I want to see how many students actually have limited screen time. Some students do, some students don't. Okay, so I can ask a student, and here they can see the way the dialogue should play out. Yes, they do, no, they don't, and I'll ask them, how much screen time are you allowed to have each day? Okay, and they can tell me. I'm blocking it, but it says hours a day, so they can say 5 hours a day, 1 hour a day, whatever, or as much as I want. Okay? Then I'm going to have a little pop quiz. Okay, so how much time should kids spend on screens for fun each day? Okay, and I will see if they can get the right answer. So there's 4 different options here. I will say who thinks it's A, who thinks it's B, who thinks it's C, who thinks it's D, and then I will reveal the answer. Okay, and you'll see that some students will get it right, and we're confident on that, and some students have no idea. Okay, so this is a fact that some of them may have learned. Okay. But having it as a quiz like that really engages them. Okay, it's a great habit to have. All right, so how do you limit screen time? And here I want to just show them some examples of what they might say. Okay, how do they do that? Okay, so here we have Sarah. She says, I limit screen time by only using my phone on weekends, which helps me complete my schoolwork. So that's how she does it. She only uses her phone on weekends. This can get the students thinking about their own life. Okay, how can they limit screen time, or how do they limit screen time? This is one method. All right, now let's ask Alex. What does Alex say? All right, I limit screen time by setting a timer so I don't spend too much time on my phone. Okay, and you can have a student read this. They can read it together as a class. You can have one group read it. I like to just have one student read it so it's clear. I'll pick on a student who I think can read really well. I'll let them read it. Okay? All right, so now it's time to create your own sentences. So this is something that's going to be a bit different than anything you've seen on my channel before, but I think it works really, really well. Okay, so this is differentiated, meaning that I have an easy or beginner sentence starter, an intermediate sentence starter, and an advanced sentence starter. Okay, so there's 3 different levels. Your class, especially, well, no matter what class size you're teaching, but especially if you're teaching a large class, everyone's going to be at a different level. Some students are going to be really, really good. Some students are going to be beginners, okay, and not very confident. So you want to give them options and show them how they can, do this thing, okay? Because not all of them are going to feel confident to. If you just give them the really, really hard one, they're not going to understand it. And if some students are really good in your class and you just give them the really simple one, they're going to think it's boring and they're not going to be challenged. Okay, when I taught this lesson, it worked really, really well because the students who weren't that confident, they could just say, I limit screen time by, and say a simple action, okay? And the students who wanted to push themselves, okay, they loved it because they could use the advanced sentence starter. Okay, and you'll see for this first one I have, let's say it here first. So this symbol means we need to brainstorm. Okay, so on the board, I'm going to write down their ideas. So ways they limit screen time, okay? They'll give me a bunch of different things they say, and I'll write them on the board. And then I will also show them some other ideas, okay? So these are things you can do to limit screen time, right? Playing outside, reading books, going for walks, setting a timer, letting my battery die, only using my phone on weekends, okay? And they can just fill this in, okay? So the students who are not very confident can just say, I limit screen time by playing outside. I limit screen time by reading books, okay? They can just plug it in, okay? For the intermediate one, they can say, I limit screen time by setting a timer so I learn more, stay healthy, feel better. In this first one, okay, if this first one for limit screen time, you'll see that I have something here. These are the results, okay? I have 3 different options for them. But in later ones, I don't include that, okay? So these are things that just give them ideas about what a result will mean, okay? You can see what the advanced one looks like. It says, I limit screen time by going for walks, which helps me feel better, okay? So intermediate and advanced ones here are not that different, but they are a little bit different, okay? Because it has which helps me, a little bit more complicated, a little higher grammar level than so, okay? And I would give the students 2 to 3 minutes to write down their answer, write down their sentence, okay? And then I let them volunteer to share for a minute or 2, okay? And then we move on, okay? If your class is an hour, it'll be perfect. My class, it was a little bit short. I had 40 minutes. I got through, I think, 3 of these healthy habits really, really well. And the 4th one, I didn't quite have as much time because, you know, there's the rules and everything in the beginning. So I kind of ran out of time. So if you have like a 45 to an hour long class, this will be perfect. If your class is 40 minutes, you can always stretch this into 2 lessons. okay? But the key is I want them to write it down because they're going to need this in the third lesson, and also if they write it down, they're going to remember it, they're going to think more about it and stuff like that. All right, let's go into healthy habit number 2. All right, so same routine here. I'm going to show them practice, and I'm going to show them 3 different options, and they can see the phrase in their first language. Again, you can change this Chinese into any language you need to, okay? So it should be practice gratitude, okay? Have them say it a few times, write it in their notebook. Gratitude is a little bit hard, like a harder word for some students. I taught this to grade 5 and 6, and they thought it was a little bit hard to pronounce, so make sure you definitely drill it, okay? So what is a good way to show gratitude? Again, we have a little quiz here to see if they fully understand what gratitude is, okay? And then you show them the answer. Once again, you can poll them, say who thinks it's A, who thinks it's B, who thinks it's C, who thinks it's D, and then reveal the answer. Okay, so how do you think practicing gratitude can change the way we feel about our lives and the people around us? You can have a student read that, you can present it to them, you can ask them, okay, and then get them to think, okay, and then you can show them a good answer for this, okay, and read it. And then again, there's some extra words to know. They can write down on the bottom. These extra words will help them when they're writing their sentences later. Maybe they need them, okay? So this is just to get them to really think how a lesson like this is relevant to their real life. If you can make the lesson relevant to their real life, they're more likely to remember it. It'll have a deeper impact on them, okay? So what are some ways you can practice gratitude? Okay, so this is a little brainstorm. They're going to think of ways they can practice gratitude. Obviously, they can say thank you to people, but I want to see what other things they can come up with, okay? You'll get lots of interesting answers for this. At least I did, okay? And write them down on the board and then move on in a minute or 2. All right, so practicing gratitude by writing a note to someone. So here's an idea that someone may have said, and if they didn't say it, it's fine. You can just show them this. And this is a really great way to practice gratitude. And some of them have done it. You can ask them, who likes to write notes to people? Okay, and they'll raise their hands. Okay, and you can show them some notes here. You can have them read some of the notes. And this is an activity you can actually do later after you complete these healthy habits lessons. You can actually have them practice gratitude by writing a note in English to someone. Okay, it's a great lesson. That's a lesson I might actually do myself. Starting to get the beginning stage. I'm doing the beginning stages of planning that lesson now. Okay, now we're going to take a poll. Okay, polling the class and getting feedback from them like this is a great way to get them to learn and remember stuff from your lesson. Okay, so how often do you practice gratitude by writing a note or thank you note to someone? Okay, and you can see here it says never, seldom, sometimes, usually. And you have them raise their hands and tell you, okay? They'll be honest too. Some of them will be like, never done it, okay? Some will tell me they usually do it, okay? Again, same thing here, time to create sentences. But first, we're going to brainstorm different actions they can take. Again, these are going to be similar things that we just said, right? Writing a note to someone, saying thank you to someone, stuff like this, okay? You can have them brainstorm, write their ideas on the board. You can also break them into groups and have them brainstorm different things together as like if they're sitting at tables, you can have like 5 or 6 students brainstorm together. And you can do it as a game where like if every group has the same answer, they all get those answers get eliminated, and whoever has unique answers get points. That's a fun activity to do. Okay, and then you can show them some ideas. Okay, so saying thank you to my parents, saying thank you to my teachers, smiling at people, saying something kind, sharing with others, writing thank you notes, writing thank you cards. And again, for the beginner sentence starter, I practice gratitude by saying thank you to my parents. There you go. Okay, for the intermediate one, I practice gratitude by smiling at people, which makes me feel, and there's an adjective here. Okay, so what adjective would you say? Makes me feel happy. Okay, makes me feel excited, makes me feel grateful, whatever. Okay, and then the advanced one is being blocked by me. I'll move myself. It says, I practice gratitude by sharing with others because I think it's important and it makes me feel happy. Okay, again, give them a minute or 2 to write down their ideas in their notebook. And again, you can see what I just did by saying some ideas, saying some answers. You can do that in class too, so they can hear how maybe a good answer would sound. You can call on students who are at a higher level, who are very confident, and have them give you the answer, and then praise those students and let everyone hear from that student. How did that student who's really good at English, Maybe that student lived abroad. Maybe they're from Singapore, or they lived in Canada for a few years and they speak really good English, and they can be the model for the rest of the class. They can hear how that student who's really confident in English might answer this question. Okay, give them a minute or two to write down their answers and then move on. Okay, you're going to be having them share their answers again in the next lesson during the review, and like in the third lesson they can share their answers again, and during the final exam they can share their answers again. So they'll have time to tell you their answers, but the main thing is make sure they're writing it down, they're really thinking, and walk around the class. I forgot to mention that. Walk around the class while they're doing it and see how they're doing. That's kind of a formative assessment, right? Getting information about how quickly they're picking up what you're teaching them. Okay, are they learning it quickly? Are they struggling? Who's struggling? Why are they struggling? Okay, and encourage them to ask you questions. You can even put them in pairs while they do this and let them work together. Okay, put a strong student with a weak student and have them work together. Okay, so this could be a form of pair work if you want to pair them up or put them in groups of 3. Okay, you could make this a competition if you think that you want to make it more like a games-based lesson. You know, who can come up with the best answers? Who can come up with the most creative answer? There's lots of ways you can do this. As I always say in my videos, you know, a PowerPoint takes a long time to make. And once you have it, you can do a lot with it. You can adjust it, you can change it, you don't have to teach it exactly as I'm saying it. You can do it a whole bunch of different ways. When I taught a version of this lesson to my own class. This is a bit different. I expanded it a bit. But when I taught it, I didn't teach it the exact same way in every class. You know, I was experimenting, trying different things and seeing what worked best. And trial and error is an important part of, you know, learning to be a better teacher. You're going to try stuff, it's not going to work, and you're going to adjust, you know. And some things might work well in one class and then they don't work well in the next class because either you don't have as much energy, they don't have as much energy, different time of the day, they're hungry, whatever. So you might have to make slight adjustments. All right, let's go to healthy habit number 3. Okay, same thing. We're going to show them 3 different options and they need to decide which one it is. The answer is stay hydrated. Have them write that in their notebook. Okay, and then here you're going to have a student or the class read this explanation. So staying hydrated is important because it helps you stay healthy, feel refreshed, feel energized, and is good for your skin and digestion. And have them write these extra words to know in their notebook. These will come in handy later when they're writing their sentences. Okay, so make sure they write these down. Okay, so feel refreshed, feel energized are going to be really good answers when they're writing their sentences. Okay, for a few of these healthy habits. Okay, so this is all done with a purpose. I'm showing them this stuff on purpose so that later they can use it. Okay, all right, now again we have a pop quiz just to see what they know. This makes it relevant to their real life, which is a really important learning principle. If you make it relevant to their real life, they're more likely to be engaged. Okay, so you can see if they know it and then show the answer. Okay, and then again, time to create sentences. Okay, so same drill, have them brainstorm, come up with ideas, write their ideas on the board, then reveal some different actions they can take that you've already prepared, And then again, the beginner sentence starter, they can just plug it in, right? I stay hydrated by carrying a water bottle in school, okay? Or intermediate, I stay hydrated by having soup with lunch, so I am not thirsty later in the day, or something like that, okay? Or so I am very full and hydrated, or something, okay? And then for the advanced one, you know, I stay hydrated by drinking a glass of water before bed, which helps me sleep better, or which helps me feel refreshed in the morning, or something like this, okay? And then again, have them write down their sentences, walk around the room, have a few volunteers tell you, and then move on. Okay, so healthy habit number 4. Same drill. So get much sleep, get enough sleep, get many sleep. Should be get enough sleep. These aren't very difficult, especially for grades 6, 7, and 8. But it's just a great way to make sure that they know and to they're going to know phrases in English, but they might not know the proper way to say it. They'll say it a little bit wrong. So if you show them like this and have them write down, it's much more likely to get into their long-term memory and correct any little mistakes they might have or fossilized errors. Again, so good sleep helps us focus better and remember things more easily during the day. Here we have the word focus. This will come in handy later when they're writing sentences. And then again, another quiz. So how many hours of sleep do kids need each night? okay, and show them the answer. Now you might be thinking, this lesson is very different than other lessons that I've taught or show on my channel that normally have lots of games. But again, this is for older students. And to be honest, these classes went really, really well when I taught them. Even though my students are used to games lessons and stuff, they really liked a lesson like this where they got to think and write down and share their own thoughts. Okay, so it went much better than I expected. And because I have these different polls and I have quizzes and I make it really relevant to their real life and things that they might already have learned, right, that they can show off their knowledge about, it went really, really well. So I thought, I was quite surprised. So here we have a sentence scramble. So I have a beginner sentence scramble and an advanced sentence scramble. And what you can do is tell them they're going to work on the beginner one first. So they need to rearrange the words and put that in the correct order, okay, just to make a sentence. And this beginner sentence could be what they write as their sentence later. The advanced sentence could be what they use later, okay, when they're writing their own sentences, okay? They can use that, okay? So you can have them write down the sentence, unscramble the sentence in their notebook, okay? And then reveal the answer, or have a volunteer tell you, okay? And then do the same thing with the advanced sentence starter, okay? Have a student raise their hand, tell you what it is. You can make it a game, but they have to write it. That might take a long time, okay? I just have a volunteer tell me what it is. Okay, then we read together. So getting enough sleep is important for me because I want to be able to focus in school. This could be what they write as their sentence. Okay, again, time to create your own sentences. Same drill, okay? And brainstorm different actions, write them on the board, okay? Reveal some answers, okay, or some actions, and then have them write their sentences, okay? You can see the 3 different levels here. So the beginner one is just basic. I get enough sleep by going to bed early. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I get enough sleep by drinking warm milk, so I feel energized the next day, or so I feel happy, or so I feel tired and can sleep, okay? Or advanced. To get enough sleep, I listen to music, or I go to bed, okay? So here you can see they're not going to need the ing. The advanced sentence here is a little bit more complicated. So they would say like, I drink milk or drink warm milk because it allows me to feel better and do better on my tests or something like this. Okay. If you want, you can change the advanced sentence starter so it can fit exactly with this, right? To get enough sleep, or to use the by format. So they can say by and then add ing. It's totally fine. I might adjust this. I'll think about it if I want to adjust this to make it simpler. But this one will work fine, especially for students who are advanced. You can just tell them, to get enough sleep, they will just say an action without the ing. So I listen to music because it allows me to, or I avoid coffee because it allows me to get better sleep and feel better the next day. For the advanced one, it's not so important. They're going to understand that they don't need to add the ing. It's not a gerund, but if you want, you can change it. I might change it, so I'll see how I feel. But you can get the idea if you're creating your own lesson how to do this, how to differentiate, and how to have different levels. Okay, and then for the end of class, here's a little homework assignment. Okay, so reflect on healthy habits. For your homework, please write a few sentences about the healthy habits you learned today that you feel you struggle with and want to improve. Use vocabulary from our lesson to explain why you want to focus on these healthy habits. And here is an example. Okay. And that is the whole first lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and let's go to part 2. Okay, let's have a look at part 2. Same drill. You got the rules, introduction, everything like that. And then we're going to go into healthy habits part 2. Okay, so once again, you can have them write this in their notebook. Just keep it organized so their notebook is organized. And with my class, at the end of the year, I check their notebook. At the end of the semester, I should say, I check their notebook. It's part of their grade. So if I have the topics and everything on the top of the notebook, on the top of the pages and stuff, I can tell what everything is, and then it makes it easier for me to check everything later. All right, so same topic. So you're going to have the same slide here. And also same lesson objectives, except now we're going to review first. Just tell them, read it through, what's going to happen in the class so they know. And then we're going to review. So for this one, they can choose one of them. If you're familiar with my channel, you know I like to do stuff like this. So have the students choose one, tell you what it is, and then reveal the answer. If you have points with these grades, you can give points. If not, it's okay. You can remove the points. It's just something that's fun, especially if they do have points, that it's available there for them. Okay. And then here it says optional review. So if you don't want to do this review or you think you don't have enough time, you can just click this and it'll skip right past it. If not, it's just what they did before. Okay, so it's the exact same thing from the last lesson. They can just share. They'll just share what they wrote in the previous lesson. I think it's good practice to do this unless you really don't have enough time. It's possible that if your class is 45 minutes, you could take part 1 and 2 and turn them into 3 lessons probably. Just rearrange the PowerPoints a little bit and you could make them into 3 lessons. There's enough material there for 3 lessons. So you're not rushing, you know. I just want to keep it organized, so 4 healthy habits and 4 healthy habits, but I could have made it, you know, 2, 2, and 2, or 2, 2, 2, and 2, or 3, 3, and 2, or something like that, but I thought a little bit messy. Okay, so again, you're just going to have them share what they already wrote, okay, for each different one. 3 different levels here. They should have this in their notebook, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Now, if you did decide to skip that part, it would have taken you right here into the lesson, okay? And again, it's going to be the same drill that we did in the previous lesson, just a little bit different. I have a little bit different, like the order is a little bit different, stuff like that. Okay, so same thing here. See if they can figure out what it is. Explain the difference to them between every day with the space, okay, and every day without a space. It's important for them to understand. Then we're going to take a poll. Okay, so how many minutes of exercise do you get each day? You can see how much exercise your students get. Have them raise their hands to tell you is the A, B, C, or D. Okay. Oh, once again, this just makes it relevant to their own life. If you can make these lessons relevant to their own life, they'll remember. Okay, that's a principle of learning. Okay, you'll make it deeper. You'll feel more like, why am I learning this? You know, is it important? Oh, okay, it is important. I'm going to remember it. Okay, that's how our brains work. Okay, so here you can see how much exercise should kids get. So they just told you how much they do get. Now you're going to tell them how much they should get. Okay, once again, you can poll them and see if they know and then reveal the answer. 60 minutes a day is enough. That's all you need. Okay, you don't have to run a marathon every day. All right, so just 60 minutes of exercise each day can help keep your heart strong and your mood happy. Here we have the word mood again. They wrote it down in the previous lesson, but it's an important lesson, important word for them to know. So I'm including it here. You're gonna have students raise your hand and telling you, we wrote this down in the last lesson. Like, write it down again. Or you don't have to write it down again. I just want to remind you. Okay. Then what is your favorite way to get exercise? Okay. And they can use these little sentence starters to help them. I like to keep fit by playing badminton. My favorite way to get exercise is by running. I really enjoy staying active through playing football. For me, the best way to exercise is dancing, whatever they want. You can have them write down their notebook if they want. Okay, totally fine. Just get them thinking, okay? And you can also show them there's a lot of ways, they can answer a question like this. English isn't, this is the answer. It's like math, okay? This is a question, this is the answer. So no, there's a lot of ways you can answer a question, okay? You can be unique. You can come up with a bunch of different ways. So that's an important thing for them to understand too, the flexibility of the language. Okay. Then we have, again, a sentence scramble. Okay. Simple one on the left, beginner one, and then advanced. Work on the beginner one first. Tell them to focus on that one. Have someone tell you the answer. Again, that could be what they use for their sentence later that they write. And then the advanced one as well. Okay. Same thing. They could use this. If they wrote it down and they decide that's what they want for their advanced sentence, they can use that. Okay. Also, they can see stuff here like sleep better, or the word notice, these extra words that they may have learned before, but they weren't sure exactly how to use them or forgot. And this will just help them remember. And now they can, when they write their own sentences, they can use it. Okay. Same drill. You can brainstorm. Okay. And then write everything down, show them this, and then have them write down an answer. Okay, walk around the room, give them a few minutes to write down their own answer. And again, it's broken down. Beginner to get exercise every day, I get exercise every day by running, or I get exercise every day by dancing, and it makes me feel, however, whatever they want to say. Okay, and then the advanced one, it says, to stay healthy, I get exercise every day by skipping rope, and it helps me stay fit. Okay, whatever. Okay, you'll find your own way when you're doing this with them, but I really like having these differentiated sentence starters. It was a game changer. I saw, normally in a class of 45, if I like just focus on the easy one, right? Everyone can say it, right? Which is okay, but it gets boring and you're not pushing the advanced students. So they're just like, they're bored. Okay, but if you give them that advanced one, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I'm going to use this one, you know, and they're really excited about showing off. And they'll even ask you, can I write my own sentence? Sure, you don't have to use my sentence starter. It's here to help you. Okay, if you don't need it, by all means, go wild and make your own sentence. All right, healthy habit number 6. Okay, so here, same thing again. Practice good healing, practice good habits, practice good hygiene. Should be hygiene. I make a joke in my class with this one so they remember the pronunciation. I tell them, I have a friend, his name is Gene, and when I see him, I say, hi, Gene, hi, Gene. It sounds like hygiene. Okay, I make this joke to help them remember the pronunciation of this word. Okay, so washing your hands properly can remove about 99% of germs. Okay, some extra words there, remove and germs. Little pop quiz here. When should you wash your hands? Obviously, it's before eating and after using the bathroom. And then, why do you think it's important to remove germs from our hands before eating or after using the bathroom? Okay, see what they think. Why is it? Okay, you can tell them. It helps you prevent you from getting sick. Okay. And then we're going to create some sentences. Same drill. Write the sentences down. 3 different levels. And there you go. Okay. And I just jumped through that because you guys understand now the way this is working, right? So I don't need to spend as much time just repeating myself. Healthy habit number 6. So here, how do they spell healthy? Okay, here it is, eat healthy. Write it down. Okay, eating a variety of colorful fruits and veggies gives your body the vitamins it needs. You can have a student read this to you, to the class. You can have a group read it, whatever. Write down the extra words. Pop quiz, what should you eat for a healthy meal? Okay, not difficult, but it helps it stay relevant. Beginner sentence starter, same drill, show them, see if they can do it. Give them a minute, call on a volunteer to unscramble it. Same thing with the advanced one, okay? To maintain good health, I choose healthy food like vegetables, and this choice helps me stay fit, okay? And time to create sentences, okay? Same thing, there are 3 different levels, okay? And they will decide what they want to say, write it in a notebook, and then they can share with you if they want. Okay, same drill. I'm just going to go through quicker because you guys get the picture now. Okay, and healthy habit number 8. So should it be avoid fast food, or achieve fast food? Should be avoid. Okay, little facts or a little quiz, I should say. What is a healthier choice than fast food? Cooking meals at home. Cooking at home can be fun, and you get to choose healthier ingredients. And time to create your own sentences. Okay, same deal. Okay, I avoid fast food by cooking at home, or I avoid fast food by packing healthy snacks in my bag so I can stay healthy. Okay, or the advanced one, to maintain a healthy diet, I avoid fast food by eating with my family so I can stay healthy. Okay. Okay, and then the homework, same drill. They're just going to write using one of the healthy habits they learned in today's class. Just write a little bit. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the lesson. If you do assign homework, you can have them handed in to you, obviously, or you can check it during the final exam, which is what I like to do. Okay, and that is all of part 2. Okay, let's have a look at part 3. So same deal. We have our introduction, our rules, and then we go into the topic. So once again, have them write this in their notebook so it's organized. Healthy habits part 3. Here are the lesson objectives. So we're going to review, give advice, and we're going to draw and write. So it's a bit different than the previous 2 lessons. Okay. Now, once again, they're going to review the healthy habits. They can choose one and tell you what it is and get points. Okay. Same deal as before, except now there are 8. Okay. And then optional review. Once again, you can skip over this if you want, or you can have them share the sentences they created in the previous lessons. Okay. It's totally up to you. I'm just going to jump ahead so we can get to the heart of this lesson. All right, so let's learn. All right, so first thing we're going to do is practice, okay? So this is just them sharing what they created in the previous 2 lessons. So if you don't want to include this, I think you could probably remove this part and probably still have enough for a full lesson. But I just wanted to include it here just so it's kind of a comprehensive review. If someone just wanted to use this part of the lesson and not the second half of the lesson, they could. So the way it works is it's kind of a dialogue, right? So which healthy habit do you think is most important for you? okay? And they'll choose one. So I think exercising every day is the most important healthy habit. And then whatever, if they say that, you click on it and then you ask the question. This is directly what they did in the previous 2 lessons. So how do you exercise every day? I exercise every day by, and they can say the sentence that they created straight out of their notebook. Okay, so here's the tip: use the sentences you created in the last few lessons. Okay, so they will say what they created, and then you click the home button and it goes back. So like I said, if you want to just have this as a standalone thing that you use for review, you can remove this from this lesson and use it later as a review if you want. This could be your whole lesson if you want, just to have this part and then the draw and write, and remove the advice or the advisor game that I have in here. It's the reason I include these different things in my lessons is because I want people to be able to make it their own. Some people might really like this kind of review and they don't like the other part. Okay, so remove that and just keep this. Some people don't like this. They think it's repetitive. They want to play the other game. They think that's more unique. They remove this and just include that. These PowerPoints are editable. You can change it, do what you want to it. I wanted to give more options to people when I was creating this, trying to think like, what would I want? What kind of options would I want if I was teaching? Maybe I just want something basic that's just going to get them to regurgitate back what they'd already created. Maybe use this before the final exam to review. Okay, or maybe you want something totally different. So that's what the next thing is. Okay, so again, it's an interactive thing. So it's a dialogue. They choose one, they click it, it takes them here. They share their sentence. You could do this as a game again. You could put them on like head to head, to do it. Okay, and that's how it works. Okay, and then after you go through this, you can skip past. Okay, so let me go back a second. So this game is called, let me move myself to the bottom here. This is called the Healthy Habits Advisor game. Okay, so in this activity, you will need to use the word should in your answers. Okay, if they're not familiar with the word should, you have it here for them. Okay, so you should wash your hands before you eat. Okay, you can change that Chinese to any language once again. Okay, so here are the directions. You can read the directions to them, or you can just explain it to them by going to the next slide and actually doing it. That's what I like to do, because this is going to confuse them. The reason I have the directions here is mostly for you, okay, the teacher, so you understand how this should work. Okay, so you don't need to read this to them. You can show it to them if you want. Some students might be really good with directions and they like to read directions. Okay, I don't like to read directions, so I would just want to learn by doing, but everyone's different. Okay, so here's how it works. Okay, and here I have a thing that says, so click on a situation tile to reveal the situation, and then click on the white description tile to go to the next slide. So they're going to choose one of these situations. And you'll notice I was very purposeful by using the word situation, because I want them to learn this word. It's a good word for them, okay? If you just have A, B, C, D, then they're not going to learn this word that's really helpful in English. They might see this word on some English test, and now they'll understand what it means, okay? So situation, they can choose. So you bring up one student from one of the teams to play, bring up one student from each team to play, and one student chooses, or they decide together that they want a certain situation. They don't know what they are, so it's all random, right? And they click the situation. So let's say he says I want, or she says I want situation H. You click it, and here's the situation. So my skin feels itchy and dirty after touching my face with unwashed hands. Okay, so it says click this tile. That's for you, the teacher, so you don't forget. Okay, you can click the tile. The tile is clickable. Okay, so you click the tile, and it takes you to this slide. Okay, so it's the same situation again, just bigger. Okay, so my skin feels itchy and dirty after touching my face with unwashed hands. So you should, and if you have this as like a team game where they're like coming up with different answers, you can have them with their team come up with an answer. So you should, and what should they do? Give them a hint. They should use one of the healthy habits that they learned in the previous 2 lessons, okay? Okay, so, you should, practice good hygiene by what? By washing your hands maybe, okay? For the first few rounds, or definitely for the first round, they might not know exactly what you want, okay? And then they can click the help button, okay? So you should practice good hygiene by washing your hands. That's to help them, okay? Especially for the first round, okay? That's a basic answer. But if you want, like I said, if it's a competition, you can have them come up with their own answers, write them down, give them a few minutes to write them down, and then they share their answers, okay? And see which answer is better, okay? And then you go to this slide is being blocked by me. For stuff like this, you can be the judge. Like, whose answer did you think was better? Or you can just, if you bring up one student, you can just have that student say, it's not a competition, they just say what their answer is. That's fine too. And then you go to keep or give, okay? And here, if you're familiar with my channel, you know about keep or give, okay? The way it works is they will choose one of these, okay? And they can decide before they click on it, do they want to keep whatever it is or give it to another team? If you have them on teams, okay? Before you play this class or before you teach this class, you know that you're going to be playing this game. So you can break them into teams right before the game or at the beginning of class by row or whatever. So let's say the student says they want this one. They walk over, point at it, I want this one. You say, do you want to keep or give, whatever it is? And they say, I want to keep it, okay? You click it, it's +2. That means their team gets 2 points, okay? If that were a -2, that means their team would lose 2 points, okay? If they said give and they clicked on it and it was a +2, they would give 2 points to another team, okay? They could choose which team they want to give it to. Or before they see the points, they can decide, okay, if I want to give it to team 3. Okay, then they click on it and whatever it is, okay? Click the home button to go back, okay? Bring up another student or 2 students and rinse and repeat with the different situations, okay? So this is just a way for them to practice, using the healthy habits that they did before. And it's a little bit harder, right? This is a bit harder than, because there's different kinds of situations here with maybe vocabulary that they don't know, but it's a time to push them a bit. So I feel sad and lonely because I don't thank people when they help me. Okay, so they feel sad and lonely because they don't thank people. Click on the slide, and here it is again. You should practice gratitude by saying thank you to everyone who helps you. Okay, they can write it down. I think for grade 8, especially in my school, the grade 8, they can do this. Okay, and you can, like I said, you can have them on teams, so it's not just a single student who does it. That student comes up and selects, and they go back to their team, back to their table. They see the situation. They decide together. They write down their answer together. They share. Each team can share their answer. You decide, okay, good job. You can give points like, oh, I think team 3 did really well, 3 points. Team 1, a little bit not as good, so 2 points or 1 point. And then the team that did the best, they can do the keep or give, or each team can do a keep or give each round if you want. You could do it like that. It's up to you. Okay, I have enough here that you could do. There's more keep or give here than the amount of situations that I have there. So it might work well to do it that way. Okay, so it's up to you. They choose, I want to give team 3 this one. Oh no, I gave team 3 5 points. Okay, and so on. You can see how it works. Go back and continue until all the situations are completed. Okay, and then obviously this will take them also back. Okay. Okay, so now you can see how it works. You can see it'll work very, very well. Let's go back. Let's go to the next part, which is the draw and write parts. Now, you might just have decided that you didn't like the advisor game, too hard. You don't like it. You couldn't make it work. You decide to skip it. You just do the first part review where they share their sentences, and you go straight to the draw and write game or draw and write activity. That's fine. You can bring paper for them. I always have A4 paper ready in my little office space so that I can. On my desk, so that I can bring the paper to class if I need it. Maybe your school provides you with paper if you're so lucky. Okay, and then here are directions. Again, these directions are for you, the teacher. You can show this to them, but you don't need to. And here's an example. So I have the word example there so they can see, so they can draw something and then talk about a healthy habit. So I brush my teeth every morning and night because it keeps my teeth clean and healthy. You can write it down. This could be homework. This could be a project that you give them to do. Here's another example. Just now thinking about the healthy habits that they learned, which one do they want to use? Which one do they think? It could be a goal, or something they already do, or something that they want to do, okay? So exercise every day to stay strong and healthy, or I want to exercise every day to stay strong and healthy. In directions, you can see that it's clear that they can do, okay? Okay, so it's up to them totally. Okay, I like to have activities like this, especially when you're finishing like a unit, because it's like a little project. And then they can hand it into you. You can grade it. You can have them keep it in a binder and then show you during their final exam. Because I have, hundreds of students. I teach 3 grades. There's like, I can't remember, 700, 800 students or something crazy. Okay, so if I were to collect all of these things every time I give them, it would be impossible for me. I just like to look at them during the final exam, check them, make sure they have them. I'm not going to go through and grade every single thing or change every mistake, but just go through and make sure it's there. Okay, if you have smaller classes, you could grade everything. But, all right, and that is all 3 lessons. I hope you, if you like these, that you want to purchase them. If you like to see them because they gave you ideas, just leave a like. That'll be thank you enough to me. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed those 3 lessons. They were quite different than what I normally am showing everyone and what I normally teach. So I really hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. And if you'd like to purchase these lessons, just go to the links in the video description below and you can find links to everything down there. So, yep, I will see you in the next one.